The last mourner left 20 minutes ago, but I can still smell the lingering scent of casseroles and sympathy in our kitchen. 8 years of caring for Dad, watching him fade from the towering figure of my childhood into someone who needed help cutting his food, and now this house feels impossibly empty. I'm Emma, 31, and until yesterday, I was my father's caretaker. Now I'm just here, alone with the ghost quiet rooms and a collection of get-well cards that arrived too late. The knock at the door startles me. It's past 9, and I'm not expecting anyone. When I open it, my stomach drops. "Hello, little sister." Zachary stands there, designer suitcase at his feet, wearing that same smirk he had when he left 8 years ago. Quite the turnout today, wasn't it? I grip the door frame tighter. "You barely spoke to anyone at the funeral." "Well, I hardly knew anyone there." He shoulders past me into the foyer, wheeling his suitcase across the hardwood floors Dad and I refinished together last summer. Guess that's what happens when you're building a life instead of playing nurse. The casual cruelty in his voice makes my fingers twitch. Dad needed me, and now he doesn't. Zachary drops his coat on Mom's antique chair, the one Dad polished every Sunday until his hands got too shaky. "Time for things to get back to normal. You can pack up your things tomorrow." "Excuse me?" "Come on, Emma. You didn't think you'd keep living here, did you?" He laughs, and it echoes through the house like a stranger's voice. "I'm the eldest. The house goes to me. That's how inheritance works. You haven't been here in 8 years, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. You didn't call, didn't visit, not even when he begged. I was busy building a future. Besides, he had you, his perfect little caretaker." He heads toward Dad's study like he owns it already. "I'll need this room cleared out by the weekend. My home office equipment arrives Monday." I watch him run his fingers along Dad's mahogany desk, the one where we spent countless afternoons sorting medications and reviewing living wills, where Dad would sometimes grip my hand during his lucid moments and whisper, "Remember what we planned, Emma. Stay strong." "You can't just—" "I can, and I will." Zachary sits in Dad's chair, testing its weight. "Look, I'll give you 2 weeks to find a place. That's generous, considering you've basically been live-in help." The words hit like a slap, but I keep my face neutral. Dad taught me that, how to wear calm like armor. "We should probably discuss this with Jean," I say, referring to our family lawyer. "Dad's will." "Oh, please." Zachary waves his hand dismissively. Dad was barely coherent at the end. Whatever he might have said to you. The doorbell interrupts him. Through the frosted glass, I see a courier's silhouette. The envelope is thick, legal-sized, with Gene Hunter's firm logo in the corner. I sign for it, feeling Zachary's eyes boring into my back. "What's that?" I open it slowly, savoring the moment. It's from Gene. We're both expected at his office tomorrow morning at 9 for the reading of the will. Zachary's smirk falters for just a second. "Fine. We'll get this sorted quickly then." He stands, straightening his expensive jacket. "I'll be staying here tonight, of course. Have my old room ready in an hour." I watch him climb the stairs, already planning which paintings to sell, which furniture to replace. He has no idea what's coming, doesn't know about the nights Dad spent with Jean, changing everything, doesn't know about the recordings, the documents, the truth. I touch the letter in my pocket, Dad's last gift to me, written in his shaking hand. "Let him show his true colors first, Emma, then let justice do its work." I smile, just slightly, and begin preparing Zachary's room. Tomorrow will come soon enough. Jean's office still smells like leather and old books, just like it did 3 months ago when Dad insisted on coming here. I arrived 30 minutes early, just as we planned. Emma. Jean stands, offering both his hands. How are you holding up? I'm managing. I sink into the familiar chair across from his desk. Zachary's already redecorating in his head. Jean's expression darkens. Yes. Well, about that. He pulls out a thick folder. Your father was very specific about his wishes. Very specific indeed. A memory flashes. Dad gripping my hand in this same office, his voice weak but determined. Make it ironclad, Jean. She deserves everything. The door bursts open. Zachary strides in, checking his watch. Starting without me? Just offering condolences, Jean says smoothly. Please, sit. Zachary chooses the larger chair, spreading out like he's at a board meeting. Let's make this quick. I have contractors coming to the house this afternoon. I catch Jean's eye. He gives me the smallest nod. Very well. Jean opens the folder. I'll begin with Harold's last will and testament, revised and notarized 3 months ago. Revised? Zachary sits up straighter. What do you mean, revised? Your father made significant changes to his will during his final months. Jean adjusts his glasses. The estate, including the house at 1542 Maple Street, all contents therein, and the majority of his financial assets, are hereby left to his daughter, Emma. The silence feels like glass about to shatter. That's impossible. Zachary's voice comes out strangled. He wasn't competent. I have signed statements from 2 physicians confirming your father's mental clarity during the revision. Jean slides forward another document. He was quite insistent. What about me? Zachary demands. I'm his firstborn. You receive a trust fund of $50,000 to be distributed in annual payments of $10,000. And this... Jean reaches into his desk drawer, producing a small wooden box. Your father's pocket watch, Zachary laughs, but it sounds wrong. This is a joke. It has to be. Emma manipulated him, filled his head with lies while I was away building something real. Building something? I can't help myself. You were gone for 8 years. 8 years while I bathed him, fed him, read to him when the tremors got so bad he couldn't hold a book. Where were you when he cried for you? Oh, spare me the martyrdom! Zachary stands, pacing. You played the devoted daughter to get your hands on everything. Well, I'm contesting this, all of it. Jean clears his throat. Before you make that decision, there's one more item to address. He produces a sealed envelope. Your father left specific instructions that this letter should only be opened if the will is contested. Zachary freezes. What letter? He didn't tell me its contents. Jean places it carefully on the desk. But he said it contains information that would become public record if entered as evidence during a contest of the will. I watch my brother's face cycle through anger, fear, and finally, uncertainty. He knows Dad knew things Zachary wouldn't want revealed. This is ridiculous. He snatches the pocket watch from the desk. You'll be hearing from my lawyers. The door slams behind him. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. You did well, Jean says quietly. Your father would be proud. He really left everything to me? Everything. Jean smiles. And Emma, that letter your brother's so worried about. Your father told me to give you this after Zachary left. He hands me another envelope, this one already opened. Inside is a single sheet of paper with Dad's shaky handwriting. My dearest Emma, the sealed letter is blank. But Zachary doesn't need to know that. Sometimes the fear of consequences is consequence enough. All my love, Dad. I press the letter to my chest and laugh for the first time in weeks. Even now, Dad is protecting me. Should we expect legal trouble? I ask Jean. He can try. Jean begins packing up the documents. But your father made sure this will is absolutely unbreakable. The house is yours, Emma. He made sure of it. I nod, touching the pocket where Dad's last note still rests. The real battle is just beginning, but for now, I've won the first round. 3 days after the will reading, Zachary's threats arrive in the form of certified letters and angry voicemails. I delete them all. The house feels different now, like it's finally mine, even with the ghost of Dad's presence in every corner. The doorbell rings just as I'm sorting through old medical bills. It's Adeline, my oldest friend, carrying a bottle of wine and wearing her "I have news" face. "You're not going to believe what I found out," she says, breezing past me into the kitchen. "Remember how I told you I've been working with that new real estate firm downtown?" I grab 2 glasses. "The fancy one with the pretentious name? That's the one." She pours generously. "Well, guess who came into our office 2 weeks before your dad passed away? Your darling brother." The wine glass freezes halfway to my lips. "What?" "He tried to list this house for sale." Adeline pulls out her phone, scrolling through emails. "He claimed he had power of attorney and wanted to fast-track the sale before," and I quote, "the old man kicks it." My hands start shaking. "He tried to sell our house while Dad was still alive? The paperwork didn't go through because he couldn't provide proof of authority to sell." "But, Emma..." She hesitates. "There's more. I did some digging. He's been showing the house to potential buyers for months." "That's impossible. I was here the whole time." "During your grocery runs, when you took your dad to doctor's appointments." She pulls up more documents on her phone. "He had a key made. Must have kept it from before he left." I remember Dad's confusion some days, insisting someone had been in his study. I'd blamed it on his medication. "I need to check something," I say, heading for Dad's study. The bottom drawer of his desk still holds his old ledgers and books. As I pull them out, a folded paper falls to the floor. My hands shake as I open it. It's a real estate contract, signed by Zachary, dated just 3 weeks ago. He'd found a buyer willing to pay cash, planning to close the day after Dad's death. That son of a bitch. The words come out as a whisper. Adeline appears in the doorway. "What did you find?" "Proof." I hold up the contract. He was planning this all along, probably why he showed up the night after the funeral, thinking he'd inherited everything. My phone buzzes. Another voicemail from Zachary. This time I listen. "Emma, you manipulative little witch. You think you can steal my inheritance? I practically raised you after Mom died. Everything Dad had should have been mine. You'll regret this. I promise." Adeline takes my phone, deleting the message. "He's desperate. You know that, right? This proves it." "I know." I sink into Dad's chair, remembering all the times Zachary lauded his status as eldest over me, how he'd take credit for my achievements, charm our relatives into believing he was the responsible one. But he's wrong about one thing. He didn't raise me after Mom died. He left for college and barely looked back. "What are you going to do?" I pick up the contract, studying Zachary's confident signature. "First I'm giving this to Jean, then..." I smile, remembering Dad's lessons about patience and timing. "Then I'm going to wait." Wait for what? For Zachary to make his next move. He always overplays his hand when he's angry. I tuck the contract into my folder. Dad knew that. It's why he planned everything so carefully. Adeline raises her glass. To Harold, still outsmarting his son from beyond the grave. And to Karma, I add, clinking my glass against hers. It's just getting started. My phone buzzes again. This time it's Jean. Emma, you need to come to my office tomorrow morning. Gwendolyn Marshall, your father's hospice nurse, reached out. She says there's something you need to know, something your father told her before he died. I hang up, meeting Adeline's questioning look. Apparently, Dad left more than just a will. He left a message with his nurse. What kind of message? I don't know. I look at the contract in my hand, then at the empty doorway where Zachary used to swagger through. But I have a feeling it's exactly what we need. Jean's office feels colder today, matching the tone of his voice as he spreads out the latest legal documents across his desk. Zachary's lawyers are moving fast, he says, tapping a thick stack of papers. They're claiming you coerced your father during his moments of confusion, that you manipulated him into changing the will. That's ridiculous. My voice catches. I have 8 years of medical records showing Dad's lucid periods. The doctors. I know, Emma. Jean holds up a hand. But Zachary's gotten aggressive. He's hired Blackwood and Associates. The Sharks? My stomach drops. They're known for tearing families apart in inheritance disputes. They're requesting all medical records, diary entries, even security footage from the hospice visits. Jean leans forward. But there's something else. Your brother's been talking to the neighbors, trying to build a case that you isolated your father. A knock interrupts us. It's Zachary, looking perfectly pressed in an expensive suit. He doesn't wait for an invitation before entering. Well, if it isn't Daddy's little angel. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Jean, could we have a moment? Jean looks at me. I nod. 5 minutes, Jean says, closing the door behind him. Zachary drops into the chair beside me. You know, I've been thinking about when we were kids. Remember how Dad always made you apologize when you took my things? I never took your things, Zachary. You took mine and blamed me. He laughs. Still holding on to childhood grudges? That's sad, Emma. Really sad. He leans closer. But what's sadder is how you poisoned Dad against me, fed him lies while I was building my future. Building your future? I pull out the real estate contract. You mean like trying to sell our house before Dad was even dead? His face goes still. Where did you get that? Does it matter? What matters is you had no right. I had every right. He snatches the contract, crumpling it. I'm the eldest. Everything was supposed to be mine. But you, he points a shaking finger, you played the devoted daughter while turning him against me. You turned him against yourself. I stand, remembering Dad's tears when Zachary missed another holiday. You never called, never visited. He begged for you, Zachary. In his worst moments, he'd cry for his son. Oh, spare me the guilt trip. He stands too, towering over me. You loved playing martyr, didn't you? Saint Emma, sacrificing everything for Daddy. Did you tell him about the money? I freeze. What money? Don't play dumb. Mom's inheritance. The account Dad never knew about. His smile turns cruel. Or did you think I wouldn't remember? Before I can respond, the door opens. It's Gwendolyn Marshall, Dad's hospice nurse, her grey hair pulled back severely. "I hope I'm not interrupting," she says, but her tone suggests she doesn't care if she is. Zachary straightens his jacket. "We're in a private meeting." "Not anymore." Gwendolyn sets her bag down. "Emma, your father asked me to be here today. He knew this would happen." "What would happen?" Zachary demands. "The accusations, the threats." She pulls out a small recorder. "Harold made this 3 days before he passed. He was completely lucid. I have the medical charts to prove it." My heart pounds as she presses play. Dad's voice fills the room, weak but clear. "If you're hearing this, it means Zachary is trying to contest the will. My son, always so certain of his rights, never his responsibilities. But I knew. I knew about the money, Zachary, about Mom's account, about everything." Zachary's face drains of color. "Emma," Dad's voice continues, "in my study, behind the painting of the lighthouse, there's a safe. The combination is your birthday. Everything you need is there. I'm sorry I kept this burden from you, but I needed to be sure." The recording ends. Zachary looks like he might be sick. "Jean?" Gwendolyn calls out. "You can come back in now." Jean returns, carrying another folder. "Shall we discuss the real reason Harold changed his will, Zachary? Or would you prefer to drop the contest now?" Zachary grabs his coat. "This isn't over." He spits, but his hands are shaking. After he leaves, I turn to Gwendolyn. "What's in the safe?" She shares a look with Jean. "Something your brother never wanted found. Something that proves exactly who he is." The lighthouse painting feels heavier than I remember as I lift it from the wall. Behind it, the safe's keypad glows dimly. My birthday, Zarf 315. The mechanism clicks. Gwendolyn stands beside me as I pull out a thick manila envelope and several bank statements. "Your father showed me these 2 weeks before he passed," she says quietly. My hands tremble as I spread the documents across Dad's desk. Bank transfers, withdrawal slips, forged signatures, all in Zachary's handwriting. "Mom's inheritance," I whisper. "He stole it? Not all at once." Gwendolyn points to the dates. "Small amounts over 3 years, starting right after your mother died. Harold discovered it last year during one of his good days, when he was reviewing old accounts." The numbers blur before my eyes. Nearly $200,000 siphoned away while we struggled to pay for Dad's medical care. "Why didn't Dad tell me?" "He wanted proof first." Gwendolyn pulls out an old audio recorder. "He made this the day he found out. Said you needed to hear it in his own words." I press play, and Dad's voice fills the study. "Emma, my girl, if you're listening to this, then you know about your brother's betrayal. After your mother died, he convinced me to add him to her accounts as a co-signer. Said he'd help manage the finances while I grieved. Instead," a heavy sigh, "I was blind to who he really was. But you saw it, didn't you? Even as a child you knew." Tears burn my eyes as the recording continues. The money he stole, it was meant for both of you. For your education, your futures. When you gave up your nursing career to care for me, I thought... His voice breaks. "I thought we'd have enough saved to help you start over afterward, but Zachary had already taken it all." A knock at the front door startles me. Through the window, I see a familiar face, Theo, Zachary's former business partner. "I got your message," he says when I let him in. "About Zachary?" "You said you had information?" Theo's expression is grim as he joins us in the study. More than information. I have proof. He pulls out his phone. Zachary didn't just steal from your family. He's been running a scheme through our company for years. The evidence is damning. Fake invoices, shell companies, client funds redirected to personal accounts. Why are you showing me this? I ask. Because he screwed me over too. Theo's jaw tightens. Left me to face the investors alone when it all started falling apart. Now he's trying to cash in on your inheritance to cover his debts. Gwendolyn picks up one of the bank statements. This matches the pattern from your mother's accounts. Same methods, different victims. My phone buzzes. A text from Jean. Zachary's lawyers requesting mediation. They want to settle. He's desperate, Theo says, reading over my shoulder. The investors are closing in. Without this inheritance, he's finished. I think of Dad, struggling to pay for his medications while Zachary lived lavishly on stolen money. Of all the missed holidays, the unanswered calls, the tears I wiped away. What do you want in exchange for testifying? I ask Theo. Just the chance to see him face consequences. For once in his life, another text from Jean. Meeting tomorrow, 10 a.m. Zachary agreed to come alone. I look at the evidence spread across Dad's desk. The proof of years of betrayal and lies. Tell Jean I'll be there, and tell him to bring the sealed letter. You're going to show him everything? Gwendolyn asks. No. I gather the documents carefully. First, I'm going to give him one last chance to confess, to show even a shred of remorse. And if he doesn't, I think of Dad's voice on the recording, broken but resolute. Then he learns what it feels like to lose everything, just like he did to us. Theo nods approvingly. I'll have the company audit reports ready by morning. The setting sun casts long shadows through the study windows, across the scattered evidence of my brother's true nature. Tomorrow, he faces a choice, confession or destruction. Somehow, I already know which he'll choose. Jean's conference room feels too small with all the tension filling it. Zachary sits across from me, his expensive suit wrinkled, dark circles under his eyes. He hasn't been sleeping. Good. Before we begin, Jean says, both parties have agreed this meeting is off the record. No lawyers, no recordings. Fine, Zachary snaps. Let's get this over with. What's your price, Emma? I place Mom's old checkbook on the table. Do you remember this? His face flickers with recognition before settling into careful blankness. Should I? Mom used to balance it every Sunday after church. She taught me how to track expenses in it. I open it to the last entry. The final balance was $237,000, but when we went to pay for her funeral, the account was empty. Ancient history. He waves his hand dismissively. If you called me here to rehash, funny thing about bank records, I interrupt, sliding the first document across the table. They never really disappear. His hands shake slightly as he reads the transfer details. His signature, clear as day, moving money from Mum's account to his personal one. I was executor of her estate, he says quickly. I had every right. To steal from your family? I push another document forward. To watch Dad struggle with medical bills while you lived off Mom's money? You don't understand business, he snarls. I needed capital for my investments. Like this one? I slide Theo's company audit across the table. The same scheme. Different victims. How many people have you stolen from, Zachary? The color drains from his face as he recognizes the report. Where did you get this? Theo says hello. I lean back. He's very interested in testifying about your creative accounting. Zachary stands so quickly, his chair tips over. You vindictive little— Sit down, Jean orders, his voice sharp. Or I start making calls. Zachary rights his chair with trembling hands. What do you want? First, a confession. Tell me why you did it, why you abandoned Dad when he needed you. Because he was weak! Zachary slams his fist on the table, always going on about family and duty and responsibility. I deserved more. I deserved everything. And now you'll lose everything. I pull out my phone. Unless what? There's desperation in his voice now. Sign a confession. Admit to stealing Mom's inheritance. Withdraw the challenge to Dad's will. Walk away. And if I don't? Then tomorrow morning, Theo submits his evidence to the SEC. The investors you defrauded get notified. Your company's audit goes public. I meet his eyes. Dad protected you your whole life. He's not here to do that anymore. Zachary's facade cracks. For a moment, I see the scared little boy who used to blame me for his mistakes. You'd destroy your own brother? You destroyed yourself. I push a pen and paper toward him. Your choice? His hand shakes as he reaches for the pen. I never meant— He stops, swallows. Dad wasn't supposed to find out. But he did. I think of Dad's recordings, his quiet determination to protect me one last time. He knew everything. Zachary starts writing. Each word seems to physically pain him. When he finishes, Jean takes the confession, reads it, nods. We're done here, I say, standing. Emma. Zachary's voice is small. What happens now? You live with your choices, just like I lived with mine. I gather my documents. Don't contact me again. Wait! He grabs my arm. Please, I'm your brother, your family. I gently remove his hand. No, Zachary. Family shows up. Family stays. You're just someone who shares my DNA. At the door, I turn back one last time. He sits there, defeated, staring at his reflection in the conference room window. The house keys, I say quietly. Leave them with Jean. Outside, rain begins to fall. I think of Dad's voice on the recordings, of Mom's checkbook, of 8 years spent watching someone I love fade away while my brother lived off stolen dreams. My phone buzzes. A text from Adeline. Is it done? Yes, I type back. He confessed. Are you okay? I look up at the grey sky, feeling the rain on my face. I will be, I reply. I finally know who he really is. And more importantly, I know who I am. The courthouse feels colder than I remember. Despite Zachary's signed confession, his lawyers insisted on a final hearing to formally withdraw the challenge to Dad's will. As I sit in the front row, Gwendolyn squeezes my hand. He's not coming, she whispers, but she's wrong. Just before the judge enters, Zachary slips in through the back door. He looks smaller somehow, his designer suit replaced by department store clothes. All rise, the bailiff calls. Judge Martinez surveys the room. I understand we're here to formalize the withdrawal of the challenge to Harold's will. Zachary's lawyer stands. Yes, Your Honor. However, before we proceed, my client would like to address the court. My heart pounds as Zachary approaches the podium. He pulls out a wrinkled piece of paper, hands shaking. He clears his throat. I prepared a statement. The judge nods. Proceed. 8 years ago, I left home to pursue my ambitions. I told myself I was building something important, something that would make my family proud. His voice cracks. But the truth is, I was running away from responsibility, from watching our fathers decline, from facing my own failures. I grip Gwendolyn's hand tighter. While my sister Emma sacrificed everything to care for our father, He stops, crumpling the paper. I stole from them, from our mother's inheritance. I let them struggle while I lived off that money. I convinced myself I deserved it. The judge leans forward. Mr. Dawson, are you aware that confessing to financial fraud in open court? I'm aware, Your Honor. Zachary's shoulders slump. But Emma deserves to hear the truth. Dad deserved better than what I gave him. Jean stands. Your Honor, we have documentation of these transactions. If the court requires... That won't be necessary. The judge interrupts. I'm more interested in the will challenge. Mr. Dawson, are you withdrawing your contest? Yes, Your Honor. Zachary turns to face me. The house, the estate, everything belongs to Emma. She earned it. I didn't. Very well. The judge signs something. The challenge is dismissed. The original will stand as written. As people begin to file out, Zachary approaches me. Emma, Don't. I hold up my hand. You don't get to make this better with one courtroom confession. I know. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a small envelope. But Dad's pocket watch, the one he left me, I want you to have it. Keep it, I say. It's the only thing he trusted you with. His face crumples. I found a job, in Seattle, a real one, entry-level accounting. Good for you. I'll pay it back, he says quickly. The inheritance. It'll take time, but keep it. The words surprise even me. Consider it the price of never contacting me again. Theo appears at my elbow. The investors are waiting, Emma. They want to discuss the evidence. Zachary pales. The company audit is being handled through proper channels, Theo says coldly. You should leave now. We watch him walk away, shoulders hunched, no trace of his former arrogance. You're really letting him keep the money? Theo asks. Dad always said revenge costs more than forgiveness. I touch the necklace holding Dad's last note. Besides, he'll punish himself better than I ever could. Outside the courthouse, Adeline waits with a bouquet of Dad's favorite flowers, white lilies. Ready to go home? She asks. Home. The word feels different now, cleaner somehow. Actually, I say, I want to make one stop first. At the cemetery, Dad's headstone is still fresh. I place the lilies carefully. It's done, Dad, I whisper. The house is safe. The truth is out. And Zachary... I touch the cold marble. Zachary finally faced himself. Gwendolyn appears beside me. Harold would be proud of you, not for winning, but for how you won. With truth, I say. With grace, she corrects. My phone buzzes. A text from Jean. Final paperwork ready. House is officially yours. No strings, no claims, no shadows. I look at Dad's headstone one last time. The evening sun catches the engraving. Harold James Dawson, beloved father. His love was his legacy. Let's go home, I tell Gwendolyn. I think Dad's study needs some fresh flowers. The autumn breeze rustles through Dad's garden as I clip the last of his prized roses. Inside, Adeline arranges moving boxes in neat stacks. You sure about this? She asks when I return with the flowers. It's time. I place the roses in Mom's crystal vase. The children's hospital needs this house more than I do. After the court hearing, I couldn't sleep in this big empty house anymore. Then, I remembered how Dad always talked about wanting to help sick kids, how he'd light up when I told him stories from my nursing days. The doorbell rings. It's Jean, carrying the final donation paperwork. "The hospital board is thrilled," he says, spreading documents across Dad's desk. "They're already planning the pediatric wing renovation." "Harold would have loved that," Gwendolyn adds, appearing with coffee. She's been helping me sort through Dad's things all week. I sign where Jean indicates. "They'll keep the garden." "As promised, the Harold Dawson Memorial Garden will give patients and families a place to find peace. A knock at the door makes us all turn. Through the glass I see a familiar silhouette. "I got your letter," Zachary says when I open the door. He looks different, humble, almost. "About donating the house." "I'm not asking your permission." "I know." He shifts uncomfortably. I think Dad would have liked it." I study him carefully. The designer clothes are gone, replaced by simple business casual. There's a hospital visitor's badge clipped to his shirt. "I volunteer at the children's ward in Seattle now," he explains, following my gaze. "Every weekend. It's not much, but it's something." I finish. He nods, then reaches into his jacket. "I found this in my old room. Thought you should have it." He hands me a worn envelope. Inside is a photo I haven't seen in years. Dad teaching me and Zachary to ride bikes. His hands steady on my handlebars. Zachary already racing ahead. "Oh, remember how he wouldn't let go until we said we were ready?" Zachary's voice is soft. Even when his arms got tired, he kept holding on. "He never stopped holding on," I say. "Not to either of us." Zachary blinks rapidly. "I'm sorry, Emma. For everything." "I know." I touch the photo gently. "But we can't go back." "No," he agrees. "But maybe we can do better going forward." Before I can answer, Theo arrives with the hospital board representatives. It's time for the final walk through. "I should go," Zachary says. He places Dad's pocket watch on the entry table. "This belongs here, with his memory." As he turns to leave, I call out, "Zachary?" He pauses. "The hospital's having a dedication ceremony next month. If you want to come." A small smile, genuine this time. "I'd like that." After he leaves, Adeline helps me pack the last of the photos. "You okay?" "Actually, yes." I pick up the pocket watch, its familiar weight comforting. "Dad always said healing starts with letting go." Jean appears with the final papers. "It's official. The Harold Dawson Children's Wing will open in spring." I walk through the house one last time. The kitchen where Dad taught me to bake. The study where he fought his hardest battles. The garden where he found peace. In his desk drawer, I find one final surprise. A letter I hadn't seen before, dated just days before he died. "My dearest Emma, whatever you decide to do with this house, remember, home isn't in these walls. It's in the love we shared here, the lessons we learned, the grace you showed even when it was hardest. I'm proud of you, not for what you did for me, but for who you are. Keep growing, keep loving, keep making this world a little better. That's the real inheritance I leave you. All my love, Dad." I tuck the letter into my necklace, next to his other notes. Outside, the moving truck waits. My new apartment is smaller, but it feels right. "Ready?" Adeline asks, holding the door. I look back one last time. The evening sun streams through the windows, catching the roses in Mom's crystal vase. They'll stay here, greeting the first families who come seeking healing. Ready, I say, and close the door softly behind me. Some inheritances, I've learned, are meant to be shared,